And you have some volunteers here too as
Yes.
well.
Madam Chair, members.
And your color coordinator.
I know, right? This is a team right here. Madam Chair, members of the board, thank you for having me here this afternoon. Like Dr. Garcia said, my name is Kristen Barney and I'm the manager with Pima Animal Care Center. I'm also relatively new with PAC, so this is my first opportunity to come before the board. So other than some knocking knees and right for budget hearings, right? Welcome.
Do you think that's luck or is that punishment?
I'm trying not to think about it, but I am pleased to be here and have the opportunity to talk to you about our budget. As you know, PAC provides all the animal care and enforcement services for Pima County. We are our community's only open admission shelter, which means we don't turn away a pet that needs assistance. And because of that, we are oftentimes our community's only resource for people and for their pets. We're comprised of 3 main units, enforcement, licensing, and also our shelter, which incorporates our medical team. Enforcement is responsible for handling animal welfare calls, so that can be sick or injured pets, abuse or neglect cases, biting pets, or possible rabies exposures, and then to a lesser extent, noise and waste complaints and stray pets. Our licensing division handles all of the dog licenses for Pima County. They also will process all the adoptions, redemptions, and then phones, mail, and a lot of very important support to the operation. And then finally, our shelter and medical teams are responsible for the placement and the care of the nearly 24,000 pets that we take in each year. In addition to basic care, they provide or perform about 150 to 200 spay-neuter surgeries each week. They're providing some sort of level of medical care to about 75% of pets that are in our shelter. And they're also providing or performing behavioral medical assessments, at least to the best of our ability with our current constraints. They perform the evaluations and then make determinations for final placement. See, those knocking knees again, it makes me nervous, so let me take a look around and see. So this is just a very cursory overview of the functions that we serve, and although it might not be as readily apparent as the other programs in the health department, what we do does impact the health and safety of the population of Pima County, and that's the pets and the human population both. So we know that PAC has been running this fiscal year a little bit over budget, and that is because of the incremental expense incurred from saving more lives and caring for more pets. So those things are food, vaccination, microchips, sanitation, things like that. You'll also see in Mr. Huckleberry's recommended budget for the next fiscal year, there's an increase of about $350,000, which is about what we're ending over this year. So we do believe that next year's budget is a true reflection of the cost to operate this service model. Since I started working with PAC, I've been working closely with departmental analysis, our budget manager, and the management team at PAC to find ways to streamline our operation and contain costs and be more efficient and more effective. I can certainly provide some examples of those if you are interested, but I did want to say that I think I'd be doing our team a disservice if I didn't say that the budget will continue to be tight for operating on this service model, but we are committed to being fiscally responsible, being thoughtful and resourceful in our decision making, and making sure that we're able to accomplish PAC's mission, provide the level of animal care that our community deserves, while also being fiscally responsible and operating within our given budget. So I'm certainly happy to take any questions.
Any questions?
Madam Chair,
Supervisor
I just had
Miller.
a question based on the memo that we just received from Mr. Huckleberry about starting to charge people surrender fees when they bring the animals to the animal care center. And this is different than the philosophy that was originally adopted. And the big concern there is if people are charged a fee, are they going to start dumping their animals elsewhere? And I just wondered, has anything been decided, or are there still questions regarding that?
Ms. Lesser?
Madam Chair, Supervisor Miller, there has not been a final determination on that. We are working with, Mr. Huckleberry has sent a memo encouraging people to take a look at this, that we've asked the Animal Care Advisory Board, as well as a group of representatives of all the jurisdictions with which we work, who also meet quarterly, to evaluate what various options are. We started a while back determining that if we were to continue under the current policy of looking to provide live release for as many animals as humanly possible, that we were going to need additional services, and what were different ways we could look at that. This is one of the many elements that we're considering. Nothing has gone into place. I might also add that one thing we're evaluating is all of our rates are the same at this point because we have existing intergovernmental agreements with the other jurisdictions in the Pima County area. We're beginning to decide what might be opportunities if we were to not have an operational intergovernmental agreement with one of the jurisdictions. What are then opportunities that we might want to evaluate?
Yeah, the big concern there is the city of Tucson, who we don't have an intergovernmental agreement with this new philosophy. My understanding is they've reneged on paying the increased operational costs. And the concern there is the enforcement and going out and picking up the animals costs are about 60% of the cost for that facility is affiliated with the city of Tucson operation. And I guess these are all right now being considered by the advisory board, but it's a real concern that we're now getting into a point where we're starting to think about, oh, how are we going to operate this? How are we going to be able to sustain this facility? I just was very concerned about that when I saw it, because that's something that I think we should have addressed prior to even bonding for this facility.
If I may, Madam Chair and Supervisor Miller, I don't think this is a new segment, and I think that over the last, I can only speak to 5 years that I've been here, we've been looking at a variety of different models. One of the things that I think is critical to the operation is about a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago now, one of the new positions that we funded is a development director, and I can't stress enough the importance of that position. I was looking at numbers simply for the first quarter of this year, and we're over $300,000.
Richard?
Something happened with my phone here. I apologize to everybody. Suddenly it started playing the Grateful Dead.
You think that was
It happens.
an accident?
Probably Miss Lesher.
I mean, the timing couldn't have been better.
Really, it couldn't have. Sorry about that.
Anyway, Supervisor Miller, we're looking at a variety of opportunities, knowing that as the number of animals increase, the people are increasing. There's a lot of different ways we have to look at this, and I think what's probably driving some of the look at the additional costs and fees is a potential that we may not have if we don't have operating agreements with all the jurisdictions. We certainly hope we do, and we continue to meet quarterly now with the city managers and the finance directors for all of those communities.
Okay, so we have them in place for the other jurisdictions with the increased fees?
Yeah,
For
Madam
the
Chair,
coming
Supervisor Miller, we do, and my hesitancy is there's a they're coming up, and so yes, we do. They are going to be over the next year. We're going to see those all coming back to you for and to the jurisdictions for approval.
And they're incorporating the increased fees and operations costs, because my concern was when we bonded for this is that we didn't have an agreement in place prior to bonding on this, that they had actually had a meeting of the minds and an agreement that they would be willing to participate in this new philosophy, new type of plan for operating the facility.
And Madam Chair, Supervisor Miller, and I think one of the things we've really been looking at and working with the jurisdictions is a variety of issues, including, and I think as you speak with them, questions of transparency were also very critical. And one of the things that we have been doing is making sure that all of the cities understand exactly what the budget is, what goes into the budget, what those costs are. And I think a critical element is that we are providing them with the information ahead of time so that they can plan and incorporate into their budgets. I think that with some of our jurisdictions, the concern has been not what the amount was necessarily, but the fact that
When they got the
when they got the information. So we have committed to, again, regular meetings and ongoing communication so there's no surprises.
Thank you.
And we're under no obligation to provide the city these services, is that correct?
Madam Chair, absent an IGA, we are not. Actually, absent an IGA, we can't.
Thank you. Any further questions? Thank you. That concludes